welcome back to WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and with me is always our resident wrestling expert, Tate Mathews. Tate, Happy New Year, brother. Happy New Year to the WCS Sports Conference. It's 2018. We are in the middle of wrestling, closing up bowling, your favorite sport.
Love bowling.
And basketball. Speaking of bowling, Justin Hammers, what a great name, Wilco name. Wilco finalist, great name for bowling. Justin Hammers and Drake Austin of Brentwood have qualified for the TWCA State Championships in the individual tournament. Libby Butler of Franklin, Daphne Pruitt of Page as well on the girls' side for the TWCA individual tournament. Franklin defeated Fairview in the girls' team aspect in the district tournament. Both of those teams advanced. Brentwood defeated Franklin on the boys' side. Both those teams advanced into the regions. We'll see what that placement comes out as far as TWCA state tournament action goes.
Hey, we're still in it, right? Got a chance to. At Brentwood, that's pretty scary right there. They're still in that, Director Cup. Those add up. Director Cup final standings or points or whatever. So.
Well, you got to look at this. More importantly, Fairview's in there. They block somebody from getting some valuable points on that.
Without a doubt.
They're getting their own points.
Where is the stage? Is it at Smyrna?
It is at Smyrna, yes.
That must be a nice bowling alley.
It is.
We need to get it over at King's Bowl.
Somewhere.
You need to work on that.
Yeah, let's add that to the plate. Maybe we need to let's attend and see what we need to do is after it's over we take on the top.
What's your high score in bowling?
Top two.
Don't fudge either.
I'd have to say my top bowling would be at one point in time when I was in Lewisburg, I was averaging pretty high in the high 100s.
Sweet, nice. Well, there you go.
So you add our scores together, we might be able to beat Justin Hammers. Doubtful.
Doubtful.
On the wrestling side, big tournaments happened over the break.
Yep.
What do we know about wrestling?
Well, this past weekend was the Johnny Drennan Memorial Invitational. Us older guys remember that as the Father Ryan Invitational, but in my opinion, it's always been, outside of obviously the state tournament, that is the most prestigious tournament I think around. And this was the 50th year of it, and I'm talking about a tough tournament now. There were just under 50 teams and had some really good out-of-state teams. They had Pulaski Academy out of Arkansas, a couple Kentucky teams, Georgia, and it's just a tough tournament. And we had two guys make it to the finals. Now, one, what an accomplishment by those two guys, but then you know how good our wrestling is, and only two guys made it to the finals. That kind of tells you what kind of a tournament it was. But Chad Milisalkis of Brentwood, he won at 132-pound class with a pushing him to 17-1 record on the year. So congratulations to Chad. That was a big, like I said, outside of the state championship, in my opinion, saying I still call it the Father Ryan Invitational, but the Johnny Drennan Memorial Wrestling Tournament champ, that's a big deal. Sawyer Knott, you know that name. He fell in the championship match 5-2 to a kid from Pulaski Academy at the 170-pound weight class. So congratulations to Sawyer on that. Nathan Porter of Summit defeated Job Dooley. Job was a Wilco finalist last year. He defeated Job at the 138-pound weight class for third, so we got third and fourth at 138. And then Riley Bennett, Fairview at 126. And then Skylar Coffey, who we talked about earlier in the year, Catherine's little brother, he finished third at 220. So those are our placers. That's congratulations to all of them. Again, what makes that tournament so tough, Saudi Daisy was there, Bradley Central was there.
All your East.
Yeah, all your East.
Tennessee
and then, like we
teams,
said,
right.
we're bringing out of state guys in too. And then the D2 guys. Father Ryan was there. They're the class of the D2 wrestling. So really good. Brentwood finished sixth in the team standing. Coach Kern just really has that team rolling right now. They're playing, they're wrestling really, really well. They finished sixth overall. To kind of put that in perspective, Father Ryan finished fifth. So a really good team standing. Summit ninth. Here's the thing that I think is the most impressive. Fairview came in at 17th. That's dang strong. So Coach Bubba Derrick, I think he's a Ryan boy. I know he's a Catholic boy, but I'm pretty sure he's a Ryan boy. So I know he's very excited about that.
He's a jacket right now, baby.
Back in his day.
Let's
right.
make sure.
He's a jacket now. But
Nolan's
for Fairview to go 17th in that tournament, that's really impressive. And then Franklin finished 19th.
Well, Nolensville right now is ranked number 5, if I'm not mistaken, in the mid-state or maybe in the state polls in AA wrestling. Yep. They were not a part of this particular group, but have had some success as well. So obviously, as we get closer to time of TWCA matches coming up in the state matches, we will have a large contingent there as always. Will we have a possibility of winning a team crown?
You know, I hate
It's difficult.
It's difficult because Bradley and Saudi are so dang good. You know, so we'll see. They'll have to wrestle. You know, there's duels, and then there's the individuals, and they keep the team standing. So I don't know. I would think it would have to be in the duels, but it's just those two guys are so good, man. And you know, I know this. We'll probably get two of them there, and then anything can happen. But it's going to be interesting. Brentwood and I would think Brentwood and Summit definitely got to be the favorites. They're both wrestling really well. And then Stewart's Creek had their tournament. Independence went there. They finished fourth. Daniel Fowler finished first at 126. And as we mentioned, Riley, we got a nice little 126-pound class in Wilco. Chris Keller, 220. Logan Roberts, 182. They finished runner-up. Congratulations to them.
Well, congratulations to all the wrestlers. We'll have, you know, a lot more coverage coming up here in the next coming weeks about the state tournament coming down. Here, it'll be at the Ag Pavilion, obviously in the county like it is every year. It's a great event, awesome event to go see in that space with all the matches going on, all the mats down, all the people. It's a pretty neat event. So on the basketball side, let's start with the girls first. Brentwood right now, Coach Miles Thrash has the Lady Bruins playing really, really well, 12-4, 5-1 in District 11 AAA play right now. They're kind of hitting their stride. They're ranked 15th in the state right now, beat FRA 56-47 in GCA. 56-27, have won 4 in a row. Here's a household name. If it's not yet, it will be. Izzy Franco playing really good basketball for Coach Thrash and the Lady Bruins. She's kind of an emerging star coming up. They will be at Centennial this week and at Indy.
Yeah, playing really well. And you mentioned Izzy. She's kind of leading the way. And then the Truschel twins there. Coach Thrash has got them playing really, really well. I believe that tournament that was the Christmas tournament when they beat FRA and GCA. I think they won that tournament.
The GCA was a regular season game.
Regular season game, okay. The FRA was
correct.
And I mean a Christmas tournament. I think they won that, and 4 in a row. They're playing really well. You know, they know it's a successful program there, and he's got them rolling. So, you know, you got to think come tournament time, they got to be one of the ones that are the favorites. And when you have a young lady like Izzy that can score points. That always helps.
And she can score it. She can shoot it. She can drive. She doesn't mind getting dirty. She gets rebounds. I mean, she's all over the floor. Very good athlete. And Izzy Franco. Brentwood Lady Bruins, like I said, 12-4. Centennial right now, 5-7, 1-5. I told both coaches of the Lady Cougars and the Cougars last week, Coach Froten and them, that they would definitely get a win this week, or last week rather, against Spring Hill. What happened? They beat Spring Hill 53-27, and they beat Overton before that 56-26. This brings us up to the WCTV Player of the Week. Malia Robertson, one of those big-time players right now for the Lady Cougars, had 15 points in this buzzer beater going into halftime against Spring Hill.
Fly inside.
Well,
Harden waits for it.
better hurry.
Some tells me it's going up right here. Good pass. Here's Robertson, and she'll connect.
Wow, just like they coached it.
Malia Robertson. She ends the half with 15 points. Centennial goes into the locker room up 27-9.
As you can see right there, Malia Robertson, she needs to have 20-plus points a game almost. Chantel Fly right there as well. Chantel has not played due to injury. She should be back, is back. You know, she really has to be the catalyst for them to do well on defense. That starts the fast break. They're a better team out, Tate, in transition versus the half-court set. That's the thing for them. Malia also, you know, needing to score points. She can score them in a hurry. She's already got a 40-point outing this year.
Yeah, exactly. What is one of the strengths or advantages that they have over everybody else in the district? Nobody can run with them. You're right, and she's a big part of that. So when she can also score, but when she gets back full speed, they got to get to a up-tempo game, and that poses matchup problems for the other teams in the conference.
Good thing for Coach Simmons is they got out of the losing way, got a win, but they do have to host Brentwood this week and play at Ravenwood this week as well, which is not two easy games. But
you win those two, it really changes.
Oh
things.
my goodness, it changes the whole district alignment right now. Fairview 5-11, 3-2. They have lost 4 in a row. They are playing better. Coach McGowan's group, they did lose to Sycamore 45-35, and at East Hickman 45-29. Audrey Cox, very good player for them, averaging a double-double. She could play for anybody in the Big Six. Good player. They just got to get a few things right, and they'll pose a problem and an issue in that AA district, East Hickman, Sycamore, Cheatham County, all those teams right there, Camden, they can make some noise in that district. They're going to have to get some wins. As you can see, they are above 500 in that district. They need to stay above 500 in that district. To win one, to get yourself in the region, anything can happen, Tate. Franklin right now, 15-1. Now, we discussed this the first year. We knew they had a chance of being pretty good. Arguably one of, if not the best player returning. You know, when you think best players right now, Izzy Franco, obviously of Brentwood, Holly Harris of Franklin, Kiera Downey, Chantel Fly. We knew that, you know, Holly was coming back, but the way they're playing, Jillian King has inserted herself into that lineup of top players. They're right now ranked 7th in the mid-state polls. They've won 10 in a row. They beat Overton 72-22. There's a common denominator when we keep talking about Overton in this, and it's lopsided wins. They beat Summit 46-26. I was at that game Friday night. Look, they're playing really, really good. There's nothing else you can say. He's got them playing really well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you mentioned Holly Harris as one of the top players. She has a 40-point game, 41 against Nolensville. You mentioned Malia. Are there any other ones? I mean, to kind of put into
–
right. I mean, she's one of 2 girls or 2 young ladies this season so far with a 40-point game. So that just goes to tell you the caliber of player she is. And she does more than just that. But, you know, Coach Wild, I mean, should we expect anything less? I mean, the guy, everywhere the guy goes, he does it. So, you know, and the season, we still got a lot of games left to play, but he just knows how to put teams together. Talking to Coach Joins, he said one of the things he thinks he does the best is identifying what your role ought to be, what my role ought to be, what, you know, and then having them go out and do what their role is.
Holly Harris is going to shoot the ball.
Yes.
Does anybody have a problem with that? She's going to average 20. Does anybody have a problem with that? I mean,
if you do, speak up now.
Listen, let's be honest. There is a lot of things. I'm making fun of that. Really, I'm not making light because that really is how easy it is. It comes down to the point of, hey, Grayson Murphy's on this team. Does anybody have a problem with Grayson Murphy having the ball 99.9% of the time? And the point one that you touch it, there's a good chance you're going to.
You better go back.
Yeah, there's a good chance that you're either going to have a layup, or you better give it back. Yeah. Does anybody have a problem with that? Were you going to bet anybody on that team? Said absolutely not. That's what we're talking about. Holly Harris, hey, she's going to average 20. She's got the green light to score. Jillian King is another scorer. If you want to score, go rebound, go play defense, do the things that are necessary to help our team win. Everybody sees that. Now, if it could have gone the other way, maybe lose some early, then you have to kind of figure out. But you're 15-1. The proof is in the pudding, man.
Well,
the ingredients are there. This is what it takes to win. John Wild does a phenomenal job of getting his teams to buy in. This is what's happened. Now look what's, you know, now you're ranked in the mid-state poll, and you're 15-1.
Yeah, and Coach Jay Johnson probably be the guy to ask. I don't ever remember Franklin Lady Rebel basketball being 15-1. So it's been years. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty exciting. Now, we're going to find out really what's going on this week because they have a great game. They play at Dixon, who's also ranked topped right now. This will be who pretty much fighting out for who's going to be first in the district as well. Dixon's ranked kind of in the mid-state. They host, and then they host Spring Hill Friday. All I can tell is Holly get her points in early on Tuesday, and then.
I saw where you tweeted a basketball, Popcorn City. What justifies Popcorn City in basketball?
Well, if you're up 35, it's a run.
35, gotcha,
yeah.
Okay. So you're saying Popcorn City?
Against Spring Hill?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Popcorn City. We need our popcorn. Where's the Mr. Producer, get on that. That's Popcorn City. Independence 5-12 right now, 1-5, have lost 2 in a row, lost to Dixon 65-42. Now, that is an indication. Yes, it's a 20-point game. Indy's 5-12. That's an indication that I really, truly believe that from top of District 11 AAA to even the last place team, which Indy is not, that there's a lot of parity there. That any given night, somebody can win. They do go to Spring Hill this week. I'm going to predict right now that's a win.
It's a game you can win.
And then they host Brentwood, and that'd be very interesting to see on Friday night how that game plays out, to see where Independence and Brentwood really are in the mix of this thing, because now it's, hey, remember we talked about 3 parts of the season, before Christmas, after Christmas, district tournament. This second part of the season is very important of getting yourself in the race, get yourself in position for district tournament.
Seedings.
Exactly. Nolensville, we talked about it off there. They have not had a district game yet. They are the on the 2A side of things. Their district starts this week, and all I can tell is District 10 AA, good luck. Because this team right here, to me, is the most impressive team I've seen all year long. They played Franklin. Holly Harris had the 41-point game that night. They had to beat Nolensville in overtime to do it. Nolensville does not have a senior on this team. Nolensville was back and forth. Nolensville led a lot of that game. Maybe the youth has a little bit to do with why they didn't finish that game out. But if they played again, I'm sure Coach Wild would not like to, play them more than what's on the schedule.
Right.
And I just think right now, Coach Ladd has done a phenomenal job of getting this team ready. Let me tell you why. We've played a predominant AAA schedule. I just happened to check. Forest was the first one that came up, just to look at their schedule and who they've played to get prepared for the district season, and Perry County's not going to get it done. So I'm just telling you, right now, Nolensville has got preparation for this district run that none of the rest of them have.
I agree, and it only makes you better, and Coach Ladd has. This is his first time he's ever coached lady basketball, and, man, he's doing a great job with it. So I'm excited, man. Sitting there at 11-4, I got to feel pretty good about that. They got after Watertown big time last week, and so I think you're right. I think they got a chance to really, really make some noise come district.
Sub-state or bust. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Sub-state or bust. I really think.
Sectional now.
Old school.
Right.
I really think that they get a sectional sub-state bid this year. I really
That'd
do.
be huge.
I really do. Now, whether they win that or not, I don't know. It's according to how you're playing at that time. If your confidence is up, there'll be a lot of nerves in that game. But if they can get to that game this year, they're going to the Glass House next year. They'll be in the state tournament. Murfreesboro Magnet in that for us this week. Page 10-6. Coach Brock's team is 2-4 in the district right now. They beat Middle Tennessee Christian 61-30, but lost to Ravenwood 48-39. They host Summit and at Centennial this week. Coach Brock's group playing pretty good. Ravenwood 9-6, 4-3 right now. Lost to Oakland 48-39, but beat Page, as we mentioned, 48-39. They host Nashville Christian and Centennial this week. Kira Downey, all-time leading scorer for the Lady Raptors.
Yep. And no surprise. I mean, she's been doing it.
Great player.
Great player.
All 4 years now.
Yep.
You got to think about this now. She lost half of her season, or if not more, due to an injury last year.
Right.
And she's still the all-time leading scorer.
That's right. And we've got about, 15 games left?
Got
14
plenty of
games
games left.
She's fun to watch.
A lot of points to score.
And 2 games, obviously they're going to have to play well, but 2 games they can win this week. That puts them up at 11 wins. That would really get them in a nice position for the rest of the district run.
Lady Spartans 5-7, 3-3, lost 2 in a row. They did get beat by Ravenwood 70-49. They lost to Franklin 46-26. They're at Page this week and host Dixon this week. Those will not be 2 easy games.
No.
Coach Goodwin, they have some pieces there. They really do. They just got to get themselves back mentally and put some things together. Because when I saw them play against Centennial earlier this year, which have been earlier in the season, last year, 2017, before Christmas, they looked really, really good.
Yeah, I think the one thing with Summit is consistency. I think that's what she's looking for. When they put it all together, they can compete with anybody. When they don't, they have problems. And something they got to figure out pretty quick.
On the boys' side, Coach Shirley, Brentwood Bruins, 14-3, 6-0, undefeated in the district play right now. I really do. I think the district champion this year will have more than 1 loss. I think this thing is going to change dramatically as we come down the stretch. The Bruins have won 2 in a row, 58-39 over Red Bank and 91-35 over GCA. That was the popcorn city that we were discussing. They're at Centennial and Indy this week. I feel like the Centennial game to me is very, very intriguing.
Me too.
And don't sleep on Indy either, because Indy has played these top-tier teams really, really well, even though they haven't won them.
That's right. And one thing Coach Jones has Indy doing, they play good defense, and so you show up that night and maybe a little bit cold on the offensive side, and they're playing good defense on you, anything can happen. But I love what Coach Shirley's doing, man. I'm so happy for him. We've talked about that ever since he's been there, man. That first season kind of started off a little rough. Second half, third part of the season, or second part and third part of the season, he got them rolling. They haven't looked back since. And they're really, really playing well right now. They got them ranked at number 6. I think they're probably a little bit better than that. Mid-state, none of that matters. But you're right, that Centennial Brentwood game, I think that's going to be a good one. That one, I can see that one going either way.
Well, let's talk about Franklin for a moment. Franklin, we talked about the girls' side. Let's talk about the boys' side. They're 14-3. Coach Jones has his team running 4-2. The anomaly of this whole thing, we talk about this, is the 19-point loss at Page. When you play this style of offense, sometimes you just don't hit those shots, and that can happen. But since losing by 19 at Page, the Rebs have won 8 in a row. They beat Overton 64-28, Overton, and Summit 64-60. I was at that game. You got to think, They're undersized. Every game they play,
Yeah.
they are undersized. But they do so many small things, Tate, that add up to victory. Let's look at some game film right here. This is at the against Centennial at the Battle of Franklin. We're going to look at Evan Sigler right here, the smooth shooting guard. You can see right here in their half-court defense, the 1-3-1 always poses problems. You can never, it's like the wing tee in football, you can never really prepare for it. Of course, Reese Glover, you have to consistently guard him in the half court, as you can see him shooting. He also, in this dribble drive defense, can break down. There was 4 kicks, as you could have seen right there, as he pulled up for a jumper. If you give him that shot, he's going to make it. Here he is again, step back shot. What do? How do you guard that? I will, as a former coach, anybody that puts it on the deck, I'll take that shot. But that in-rhythm shot right there that he just makes, that's how he makes everybody so much better. Here he is off the bounce again. He gets in, they kick out. You have to try to stop him from getting inside, and what happens? Evan Sigler busts a 3 on you. Here's Reese again, as you can mention, the step-back 3. This is something that you can see. You can hear it. Coach Goodwin the other night, I'm going to stop it for a second. Coach Goodwin the other night was talking about it when he caught the ball in the post. This guy is not even 6 foot tall, barely, if he is. He's catching the post back to the basket. Coach Goodwin's yelling, step back, fade away, because that's what he likes to do. Even though he's yelling, they're still getting these shots off. You can hear it coming, you can see it coming, you can prepare for it, he still gets it off. But Franklin basketball right now is depending on this full up-tempo basketball, getting those steals, getting the ball down the court. They make the shot. Jack Patton is a left-handed guard for them right now, playing really good, solid defense. He's physically strong. He shoots the ball well. Here's what I love right here. Watch this. Boom. Do you see that right there, Tate? Right there, the small things, the box out. Yep. You can see it happen every time. Boom. They get it. They don't lose loose balls. They box out. They get on the floor. They get the ball up the court, and as you're looking, that is a freshman right there scoring the bucket for them. This team is extremely talented when it comes to offensive, on the offensive side of things, but what people overlook is the defensive side. You're talking about diving on the floor, the little small things. Boom, steals right there. Right on cue, he gets the layup. They get right back at it. They're deceptively quick. Franklin basketball, the Rebs, guys, it's going to be a tough out.
Without a doubt, they're fun to watch. And then, a lot of those are college three-pointers that you just showed. And they are. They're fun to watch when they come out. They're not trotting 6'4", 6'5", 6'3", 6 foot out there. But, buddy, I think you nailed all of it. One, they play incredibly hard. The scrappy plays and the style, not always the style points, the steals, the hustle points. They're winning those. And then, Reese is averaging 25.4. Evans averaging right at about 13. You just saw from last night, I was talking to Coach Joins on the radio Saturday, and, it kind of sounded corny, but I was being serious. It's almost like Steph and Clay. Seriously, those two guys can shoot from anywhere on the court. If Reese isn't on this team, Evans probably averaging 20, and then Jack Patton's right at 9-point-something points per game. Those three, he kind of calls them their big three, but then all those other guys, same thing. Do your job, play your role, and man, they do that, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. And when those two are hitting like that, you're right. I mean, that's tough to defend.
Well, the other night at Summit, Reese has 28. No negative body language from anybody. Everybody knows he's going to shoot it. He's got the green light, and why not? This guy's average.
And you're sitting there at 14-3.
And you sit in the biggest possession of the game. Summit gets themselves back in it, ties it up. Glover gets the ball, penetrates, they collapse, and what does he do? He kicks it out to who?
Sigler.
Batman and Robin. Bust it, breaks their back, hits the 3 there with less than a minute to go. Now someone has to come down and try to answer. Which falls short. Yeah. Reese gets the ball. They foul Reese. Automatic at the line. This thing's over.
I really think there's about 4 of them that any time they play, especially come tournament time, it's going to come down to a matter of a player or two.
Who wants them? Now I'm going to talk about Summit for a moment. 7-5, 2-4, have lost 2 in a row right now. Ravenwood 54-48, Franklin 64-60. Coach Goodwin's group playing much better. I'm telling you right now, before this thing is over. Franklin's going to be a team, and Summit's going to be the team. I would not want them in the first round. I'm going to tell you another team in that group, Centennial as well. We've got some really good teams that can be, if they ever get things figured out all together. Summit's time's coming. They haven't played their best basketball yet. That's a good thing. What happened last year? Peaked right before the tournament, had won 20 straight games, got in there a little bit of fatigued.
Right.
I think it's going to flip-flop this year. I think Summit's going to be one of the teams that's going to go forward in this group. I mean, they're missing one piece of the puzzle. They got to figure out their guard spot. They got to figure out that guard spot. Jaden is better coming off screens, doing things rather than having to create. And if they get that figured out,
dangerous.
Old Sparty's going to be dangerous. Centennial 9-6, 4-2, playing really good. Trey Carlton 15, Dustin Williams 14, Hayden Pearson 16, and Shari Hainsworth 12 in the win over Spring Hill 65-47. 4 kids out of your starting 5 in double digits. Hard to beat any given night. Hey, what about West Williamson?
Good job. He's doing a great job.
Fairview Yellow Jackets 12-4. They've won 7 in a row. Now I want you to go back. You're talking about Franklin girls being good. When's the last time have they won 7 in a season, much less 7 in a row?
Been a while, and then
Coach Trey McCoy.
when you see those first 2 names that you've got listed there, Darius James and Christian Harris Lusk, brings a smile to my face, man. They're not specializing. It doesn't look to me like Darius James, Mr. Football finalist. Here he is. I think he's leading the team in scoring, isn't he? Didn't hurt him too bad.
Didn't hurt him too bad. Coach Trey McCoy has the Jackets sitting first in 11 AA. Best of luck to those guys. It's big time. We'll get more information on them as time goes. Indy right now 1-13, looking to get that second win. Nolensville 6-9, have not played a single district game. Look out, Nate Blodorn and those guys will be
gave Franklin everything they wanted
to reckon with.
Right.
In that AA division, they play Murfreesboro, Magnet, and Forest. Look for some popcorn there, Mr. Producer. Page 4-11 right now. They've lost 9 in a row after beating Franklin. They've got to get back. It's like they've trended opposite. Franklin's going up. Page is going down. Ravenwood 8-4, 5-2. Have won 2 in a row. Big games for them. They have Nashville Christian and Centennial this week, and Summit host Dixon and at Page this week. Whew! It's hard to get through all these teams. It's different than football, but it's fun.
Yes.
Hey, when district tournament comes, that's my favorite outside of March Madness. That is one of my favorite sporting events.
It's going to be fun, brother. We got a lot of basketball till we get there.
Mr. Producer, do we have any errors today?
No, you're all good.
We're all good, he says. Hey, that's a few and far between, my friend.
2018's off to a good start.
Hey, thanks for joining us this week for WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.